What's up, fam? Welcome back to yet another ToughBuilds Q&A video, and today we're going to be answering all of your questions. I know that a lot of you guys have a problem with me answering the video comments on Friday and you want the answers now. I'm sorry, bud, but this is the reason why I make these Friday videos, to answer all of the comments for now. Let's go ahead and jump into the video. The first one comes from Mr. Rose, and he wants to know, does anybody know where the long hose that goes to the atmosphere? I don't know what this means. Vent to atmosphere. This is that big ol' hose that you will see on your charcoal canister. That hose goes right into the frame. You will see it as you're putting your charcoal canister up, and you'll see little holes or big holes on the backside of your frame. You're just going to stick the hose right back into that frame again. It just helps it support it, and it vents right outside to the atmosphere. And if you don't know which one I'm talking about, I will put it right here, and I will also point to it so that way you know what hose I'm referring to, and that hose goes directly into the frame. This next one comes from Cleveland, and his comment says, hello and thank you for the video. For some reason the sound seems to cut off at minute and 36 seconds into the video. And the valve cover, thank you for the detailed video. And to answer your question on the 2016 EcoBoost, the torque specs for the VVT solenoids is about 70 inch-pounds plus a 30-degree turn. This is often found in the manual, which is known as 70 plus 30-degree turn in the repair manual. I'm pretty positive about that, and it's pretty much for any car. So even for the GTs, it's the same thing. And as far as the valve cover goes, it's 177 inch-pounds, and you're always going to want to make sure you do it in a cross pattern, meaning if you're going to want to hit the middle ones first, so that way it seats the middle down and it doesn't flex when you go to tighten the front and the back. Always start in the middle and then start from the rear back side, go up to the front, do the front side, go back to the back, and then continue doing that in a cross pattern until they're completely tight. So 177 inch-pounds, and make sure that you do it in a cross pattern. This next one comes from Melissa. Her comment says, can you list all the tools used for this video, please? I want to just be well prepared that I have them all. Thank you. And yes, I actually can give you all the tools. On all data, it's just very long when you look at all data, and it calls for a long time. But you can technically do this in 45 minutes, and I made my own personal list. What you're gonna wanna do, you're gonna wanna make sure you have a drain pan, a coolant drain pan. You're going to want to remove the inlet tube. You're going to want to remove the charge pipes. Remove the heat shield. Unbolt the drain from the turbo at the bottom, and that is a 10mm bolt. Unbolt the feed from the top of the turbo. That's an 8mm bolt. You're going to want to remove the water line held on the bottom, also an 8mm bolt. Remove the water lines from the turbo. Move out of the way. So just move them out of the way. So the two water lines that are in the turbo, they're really flexible, and you can just move them out of your way. It's not a big issue. You're gonna want to remove the O2 sensor, remove the downpipe, which those two, it's different on every car, but if you have a stock downpipe, let me know and I'll just let you know what the size of the nut is to the OEM downpipe, so I won't have to redo another Friday video and you having to wait another week. You're gonna want to remove all the vacuum lines from the actuator and the turbo. How I did it, I just removed them from the turbo. I didn't remove them from the actuator like I was originally going to do, but it doesn't really matter. You can remove them from the actuator, or you can remove them from the turbo. I just chose the turbo, it's easier. And then there's going to be the 4 bolts that hold the turbo in place, and those bolts should still be a 10mm bolt or nut, because they're actually held on by studs, and then you have nuts that just hold them in. You're gonna pull those out. You'll also need a Torx bit to take off the heat shield, and the heat shield takes a T25 to take off that Torx bit. You're also going to need a 13mm as well, because the ones that bolt up to the transmission that holds the downpipe on, those two nuts are 13mm bolts. And you sound like a car person, so you already should have a jack and jack stands. If you do, awesome, because you're gonna have to lift up the face to drain the oil and the coolant. After you're done draining the oil and coolant, you don't necessarily see, I didn't drain my oil, but I did drain my coolant. And the only reason why I drained the coolant, because it was due for a coolant change anyways. Do you necessarily have to drain the coolant? No, but it will come out of the coolant tube. Just keep that in mind. Other than that, I'm pretty sure that is all that you need to do that job. Next one comes from Mars World. And Mars World, I know that it's really hard hard to wait for a video to come out. But like I said in the beginning, this is the reason why I do these Q&As, because I also have more time to give you an answer instead of just texting it. I'm a very busy guy and it's a lot of explanation. But the P0455 code that you are receiving is definitely an evap leak. For one, I replaced my purge solenoid once before, and that P0455 came on. Come to find out, the purge solenoid was defective. Always don't assume just because it's brand new. People always say, I just barely put it on. It doesn't matter. Parts can get defective, parts can go bad in just a day. It all depends on where you buy it from and whatnot. So get it from Ford where you know that it will be 100% tested before you receive it in person. But other than that, that's pretty much one part of that code. You will also get a P0455 as well for the gas tank. So basically, since these are capless gas tanks, you have two little doors, and that back door that's behind your first door gets kind of sticky and it won't allow it to close completely, and then you receive the P0455 code because it's technically still an evap. What you're going to want to do is, just like I said in my last Q&A video, you're going to want to take your funnel, put it in there, spray some seafoam around the funnel, and then basically just take it in and out, turn it a few times, try to break up all that gunk that is stuck in within that door. And then once you see that there's no more black stuff coming out, you can go ahead and pull out your funnel, wipe it off, try it one more time, make sure that there's nothing else in there, and then you should not get that P0455 code anymore, especially if you cannot find it in the engine bay. It's most likely coming from that little guy right there. It's plain as simple. It's easy to get rid of. Summer Fire King. Yes, I know they're called wheels and not rims. Why do I keep calling them rims? I don't know. Probably because, you know, I've been around for years, and to me they're rims, but I guess in your terminology you would call them wheels. You are 100% right. They are wheels. But anyways, yes, I'm going to be looking for new wheels for the 305 tires before they start dry rotting, and I really do want to get them on the car. And I found a quote for some amazing rims, actually some bead blocks. I'm not going to say by who, but they are $1,700 just for two, and that's kind of that's insane. I don't know if I want to pay that price right now. 420-666-666-666. I'm definitely not an emo. I can't remember if I answered this one before or not, but this one's Young GS. I'm pretty sure it's Young Saver is probably going to be his name that I'm going to call him now, because it definitely looks like it's that same damn name. He asked me what happened to the Trans Am. Well, for one, it was a customer of mine. I really wanted to buy it from him. He wanted way too much, and that Trans Am was not even worth that at all. And plus all the time and effort that I put into it, he's just not willing to cut that price down, even though that, you know, he still owes me a crap ton of money from, well, we actually kind of came to an agreement, 50-50. So he would get 50 and I would get 50, and we'll both split it and we'll both be happy. And then one day we were like, okay, you can get 25% and then I'll get the rest percent. And it's like, okay, I mean, I'm fine with either way, but I did fix your car, and there still had to have been a lot done to it, but I just didn't have enough time because I moved out to Arizona. And yeah, now it's sitting at his brother's house and probably leaking again because it probably doesn't get turned on every day. But yeah, that's where it's at. So I hope I answered all you guys' question on today's video, and if I didn't, you guys can go ahead and write another comment in this section below, and I'll sure be answering that on next Friday's video. If it is a dire emergency and I say something in my video, I will definitely comment later in that video, but just keep in mind, guys, my Friday videos are my Q&A videos, and it's going to continuous be videos until, well, the channel grows and I make better content on the side. But other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. My name is Chris. You guys were just tuning in to ToughBuilds Customs. Make sure you guys go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down in the section down below, as it helps the algorithm. Always share this video with all your friends and family. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining ToughBuilds Customs. Love you guys. See you in the next banger.